Liberal immigration spokesman Paul Scarr has warned that any debate on immigration needs to be done in a way that doesn't inflame emotion. Now, he specifically took aim at colleague Andrew Hastie for using the phrase strangers in a strange land, a line he accused Hastie of borrowing from a speech by UK politician Enoch Powell in the 1960s.
Paul Scarr told the Melbourne Migration Institute of Australia, and I'm quoting Paul Scarr, "The debate with respect to Australia's immigration policy must be had. It's an important debate, but the debate must be based on evidence and facts. It must be measured and considered. It must not seek to inflame emotion, but rather to engage in good faith with respect to the issues that need to be debated in our national interest." Danica.
Meanwhile, Andrew Hastie has emailed his constituents promising them that his move to the backbench doesn't mean he is finished as a political force. He said this week has been a big one. Many people have had their say about my resignation from the frontbench. I've watched closely as our enemies have unmasked their guns, but silence has been prudent. Though I sit down now, the time will come when you will hear me. So, look, firstly, in relation to Paul Scarr, he says it must not seek to inflame emotion, but rather to engage in good faith. OK, sure, of course, absolutely. But with the conversation around immigration, it means that there are going to have to be uncomfortable conversations to be had. And that is exactly what the likes of Andrew Hastie and Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price have been doing
but
this whole time.
By implication, he's saying that they did not engage in good faith.
But he's
Isn't
also...
that what he's suggesting?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the point of what I'm saying, though, is that they have actually engaged in good faith, in my view, because they've actually been willing to have this conversation. As for the references to Enoch Powell, well, the UK Labor Prime Minister Keir Starmer, a couple of months ago, did a speech, and he said we are at risk of becoming strangers in our own land. I mean, he said the exact same thing. But the problem with this immigration debate...
You know where Enoch Powell got the saying from?
Where?
Moses. Moses was the first person to say that.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, Andrew Hastie should just say I was quoting Moses.
But the point is that immigration is going to be uncomfortable to have in this country.
Yeah.
And that is why both sides of politics don't want to have it. We can't... we can't be sidestepping the fact that we've brought some people into this country, James, who do not represent our values. And we need to have a discussion about that. We need to have a discussion about Big Australia because nobody ever voted for a Big Australia. And yes, there are going to be some people who are going to be put off by that. Doesn't matter. We have to have the tough conversation.
It seems the Susan Lee style of leadership, echoed here by Paul Scarr, is let's not offend anybody.
Exactly.
Let's not give any ammunition to our political opponents. When he says it mustn't be done in a way that inflames emotion, It was Labor MPs who inflamed emotion, accusing Senator Price, who we all know is not racist, of being a racist. And then it was Senator Price's colleagues who inflamed emotion, Paul Scarr among them, by jumping onto this pile on Jacinta Price and saying she should apologise, when everybody knew at worst she used some awkward phrasing that could have been done a little better. Yeah. But there was no intent to demonise the Indian community or to suggest anything adverse about them. It's got echoes of the Victorian Liberal Party, where Moira Deeming was basically ostracised because they feared her comments might have them called transphobes, though those comments reflected nothing of the sort. Yeah. The same panic is now in the Federal Liberal Party, where we don't want to say anything that could be misconstrued by a Labor Party that wants to misconstrue innocent remarks.
Of course. And as for Andrew Hastie's email, I say good on him. And our Sky News political reporter, Andrew Clennell, was reporting that he is looking to do a leadership challenge possibly next year. So right now he's sitting on it. The polls are not very good for Susan Lee. Yeah. She's obviously hamstrung at the moment as well, James, because she was elected as leader by the moderates in her party on a proviso that she would indeed conduct this long-standing engagement process. So there's no energy on the table. There's no immigration policy on the table because they've got to go this back and forth for the next 12 months. And that's the problem.
And a leader would never have agreed to the leadership under those terms. No. A leader would have said, no, I have a vision. You either support my vision or...